Hi, it's me, Ingrid INFP, and welcome back to um, Social Anxiety CBT with Ingrid, a non-licensed psychologist. I am not a psychologist. I am repeating this again because it bears to be repeated. I am not a psychologist and I am not a mental health professional. I happen to be a doctor, but I am not a specialist yet, and I am going into general practice and not in medicine. So don't take these as a mental health professional. Okay, this is just me going through my own therapy with social anxiety, and I'm following this book, which I'm just summarizing as I'm going on. And this is episode 2, which is taking the second chapter, which I have to read this week. And I'm purposefully not going further in this book. I'm taking one chapter at a time. And this chapter is called The Importance of Thoughts. Okay? And it talks about, first of all, automatic thoughts that come up. And because we talked last time about how CBT is about thoughts, behaviors, feelings, and bodily reactions. So this one is going to be focusing mostly on thoughts and how they affect us. And it talks about automatic thoughts, which are like really quick thoughts that you might not even be aware of. And often they are images or their interpretations of different situations. And also sometimes you like simulate what might be going to happen. And maybe you have a memory from similar situations that pop up or when these situations come up. So the sorts of things are kind of critical thoughts that you have, like, oh, I seem dumb, or this went really badly. Wow, how anxious I must be, or wow, this is embarrassing, or shit, I'm shaking with my hands. They must think I'm super nervous and stupid, or they think that I must be an alcoholic, or I don't have anything important to say. I will not be able to say what I need to say. I will just start shaking, or all sorts of terrible thoughts. And we think that these are truths when they come. And so you think that it's true because these things keep happening. And so these are hard to control because we are often not conscious of them. And so this is the first step, is to like find these thoughts and these automatic thoughts. And these thoughts come from what this book calls basic statements. I don't know what this is in English, but these are basic statements about who we are, what we think about life. These are schemas. I don't know how you say it in English. But one of them is, I am weird, I'm unattractive, I'm boring, I'm stupid, other people are critical and judge me, and I can't change myself or the situation I'm in. So you see how these statements are often critical about ourselves or about how we perceive other people as critical, or how like the situation is terrible, basically, and we can't change it. So those are the basic statements, the schemas, that we make about how life is. And then from those, you make life rules. And they're attitudes to, well, how you should live your life. They're rules that you have made for yourself in order for other people to accept you, or for you to like live your life. So one of these can be, nobody can see that I'm nervous. Everybody must like me. I cannot show any weakness. I must always seem smart and funny. My speech must be perfect. To show uncertainty is a sign of weakness. And often these life rules is, if I do this, then this will happen. So if I'm always calm and secure in all situations, then other people will respect me and like me. If I go out with other people, I will be abandoned or rejected. If I seem uncertain or nervous in a situation, then other people will see me as weak and useless. If I don't have the same opinion as another person, then the other person will leave me. If somebody doesn't like me, then it's my fault because I'm useless, dumb, etc., etc. So that means that we have high expectations of ourselves, and that these expectations can't be met at all times, and we feel like people are going to lose respect for us. And that's what happens, ironically, because we are so nervous. It kind of, the cycle happens. So because we have these basic statements, these schemas, we create these life rules in order to compensate for what we perceive as the ground rules. And then from those automatic thoughts that appear in different situations come up. So the job in this, the homework that this section is to register these negative automatic thoughts and to be as specific as possible. So here they have an example that somebody is at the cafeteria and going to pay, and then he feels stressed because people are behind him in line, and then the automatic thoughts is, oh no, how embarrassing. I'm going to lose all the money, like the coins. And he feels angry, and he feels disappointed in himself, and he leaves without buying anything. So the job was for me to do this kind of thing. And one of these kinds of things for me was, I go into the lunchroom, and my boss is sitting there and is drinking coffee. There's another nurse talking to another nurse in the corner. But when I come in to the room, I meet him, and like I can't get away, pretty much. And my thoughts is like, shit. So now we have to talk about the automatic thoughts. My automatic thought is, shit. Here he's sitting, maybe he wants to talk about something, I don't want to talk to him. But if I leave, I'll seem even dumber. Maybe he thinks that I'm not working enough if I'm going to the lunchroom now, because it wasn't my time for a break. He must find me useless for this organization. Okay. Then I had to rank the anxiety. This is like a chart, basically. I had to rate the anxiety. And anxiety, I put it on 20%. It wasn't like huge anxiety. And I could keep going. And I actually talked to the boss afterwards. While he was sitting there, and I just said hi, and he asked me how I was doing, and I said, okay, it's good. And it worked. And then I had to write about other thoughts or other feelings or bodily reactions. And for me, it was that my heart skipped a beat, and I was irritated because I wanted to have calm time in the lunchroom without anybody else around. But instead, because the boss was there, I was kind of tense. So that is an example from my daily life. I have to do more of these, so it's still in the process of making. And so that is the first homework. And it tells you a little bit about how to do this. And they say it can be hard because it's difficult to know what these automatic thoughts are because they go so fast and we're so used to it. So often a way to find what the thought is to think about the feeling that came with it. So this is a step is like trying to think about these situations. What's going on in your brain, in your body? And so first you have to see the problem before you can change it. So that's the step one. And so I'm working on this week. The next part of this is how these situations with automatic thoughts affect my life. And they made this chart here. It's backwards, but it's that the social situation activates the life rules of the schemas, and then the situation is feels dangerous, and you get these negative automatic thoughts. Those thoughts, they give different problems. They give you coping mechanisms in order to not deal with these problems or these thoughts. And they give you bodily symptoms and cognitive symptoms. So you get more nervous, basically. And they kind of reinforce, they reinforce the social situation that you're in. Because if you're feeling like your heart is beating fast or something, it will get you even more nervous and you'll have even more terrible thoughts. The coping mechanisms also affect the situations that you are in, because there's certain things you avoid, there's certain coping mechanisms that lead you into bad situations. And also these coping mechanisms also affect your other symptoms, your bodily and your cognitive symptoms. So everything affects each other. And then what's in the middle of all this, it's your the image of yourself. Because you focus on yourself so much. You're focusing on the thoughts, on the feelings, on the body, on the coping mechanisms. How do you deal? Okay, so they have an example here of a person who's doing a presentation of conference. They're talking about something technical at the job, so he has to do a presentation. That's the situation. And then he gets all these negative automatic thoughts. Oh, think if I will bore them. No, now I'm shaking. They cannot see that I'm nervous. Think if I'm paralyzed and I can't even talk. And so then he gets these coping mechanisms, which is to talk quickly, to breathe really deeply, to hold his hand close to his mouth, to speak very carefully about what he will say next. And his self-focus is that he sees himself as like a blushing, stuttering wreck. Okay, that's what he thinks, that the image of himself is that, and what he thinks that he's giving others. The bodily symptoms are his heart is beating fast, he's blushing, he's sweating, shaking, having troubles concentrating and finding the words. And everything affects each other. So that is the bad circle, according to this model. And so I haven't done this yet, but it talks a little bit about how this model works. Is that, you have all the symptoms that come, And it's called David Clark and Adrian Wells's model. So you can go look that up. And they say that that's how cognitive behavioral therapy works, is that you have to see all of the sides of the problem. The thoughts, the behaviors, the feelings, the bodily reactions. And you have to see it first in order to be able to change something. And then it talks a little bit about some coping mechanisms that can be the man who makes a lot of pauses while he talks, or the woman who is worried about shaking her hands, her hands shaking, so she holds her glass with two hands, which also leads to her thinking that she's more nervous, And then it talks a little bit about being worried before the event or after the event, post-mortem. That keeps the cycle going. If you see the situations before or after, and you get anxiety even before and after the actual situations, then this whole circle just keeps going on. So it tells you about how these problems keep coming up and keep persisting is because our conscious thought is occupied of ourselves all the time. We avoid things. We get coping mechanisms, which actually lead to more problems sometimes. And we don't process things in a positive light in the future. And we don't process things well in social situations. So this is just a summary of everything that's in here, but then it talks about how you should do these different, fill out these different charts. So I told you a little bit about how I filled in the first chart. I haven't filled in the second one because I'm thinking that I'm going to look at all of the different situations I've been in this week before I fill it in. But that is it for this chapter. Tell me what you guys think. I will try to find certain things online that might be related to what this book is talking about. Next chapter will be about thoughts again and questioning the thoughts. So I'm not there yet. It was a good session with my therapist last time. He said that it was okay to start social anxiety, the CBT, even if I have depression as well. And also, I told him that often I get anxiety even when there's nobody around because of my critical voice in my head saying that I don't know how to do things. But it's also true that I haven't learned how to do a lot of things like chores throughout my life because, well, my parents were pretty chill, I guess. I don't know. They were controlling, but they also they did not make me do a lot of things, or they didn't worry about me doing things correctly in terms of chores. It was mostly that I avoid certain things because I know that I'm not doing it correctly. And so he said, my psychologist, to do these things for myself first before I train doing it in front of others. Because one of my big stress moments is, for example, if I do dishes or if I cut vegetables or something in front of a person. And it leads to me not knowing how to cook or how to even do dishes. I feel uncertain for some reason. So he told me, go do your dishes, go cut some vegetables up, and don't worry about the vegetables being well cut. Just buy vegetables just to cut them. So I got kind of emotional there because it's kind of embarrassing to admit that I don't know how to peel an apple. But so that's what I've been doing. I've been peeling apples, I've been peeling carrots, I've been cutting up tomatoes, I've been peeling kiwis. So I'm really invested in that thing. But so I'm doing that in parallel with the CBT in this book. Yeah, my next goal is to buy training shoes and find a gym that I can go to. But that's a pretty big goal far in the future. So first it's buying the shoes. Another one of my goals is to buy a bike so that I can actually bike outside. Because that is something that my social anxiety stresses me out about. So tell me what you guys think. I saw that my other video, my episode 1, was really well liked, so I'll leave that up here. And yeah, tell me what you guys think. Have a great day. Bye.